Yeah, I mean, they went into the documentary about that a little bit. How there's basically like every show there'd be like a bunch of models that would go and line up in front of his dressing room, and they would each go in one by one, and he would close the door behind them, and then
So like, what's that behavior? Like, so I don't. You could be the most Cosby positive person, and you just put that together. You go, well, it is what it is. I mean, I didn't even know. To me, that was just like it is what it was. So. All right, that was accepted. So when I heard anything else, I go, oh, kind of makes sense to me. And then those are not the girls I know personally. Mm-hmm. Those are definitely not the girls I know personally, because one chick, of course, fine, was from she was from Holland, had an accent like super thick. She's black, fine as hell, from Holland. And she's like, Bill Cosby is going to help her out with, her career and stuff. And I'm like, really? I almost don't know what the hell you're saying. If he's not telling you first, you got to deal with your accent. He's just after you. And I'm like, I remember later on when it was like, hey, so how did it go with, the meeting? Is he helping you out with your career? And she's like, I don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then she eventually talked about it. And I'm like, but that's like,
oh,
hey,
that was the one that told you that she. Did she tell you about the drugging of the drink, or was it just something else?
I don't even want to go into that because I don't know how this shit works.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But put it this way. That's one of three. And that's before I even knew anything about this thing. So it's like she never came forward. She felt like really, well, she was very angry. She was very because at first she was like talking about him like he was her savior. He's going to do this for me. He's going to do that. And I'm like, I didn't know anything. I'm like, oh, okay. But what I question is, if this man is not telling you to get, work on like getting an American accent, he's not being truthful. That's the only advice I gave her. Cause I'm like, I think, and this is after like I'd gone to the audition part happened. So I was like, I don't know, he might, but so it's like, hey, if it's consenting adults, ain't no harm, no foul. If that's what he's doing, that's what I didn't think anything.
Right. I mean, the adultery thing was whatever. Like people are like, whatever. Yeah, that's between him and his wife. It's not about anything else. But the drugging thing is what everyone is focused on. And do you think any of these three women will actually come and tell their story on Vlad TV, or do they want to die with these stories?
Dude, I ain't talked to them in 20 years, man. Like, dude, you know what it was?
Yeah. It is what it is. Yeah.
No, man. I wasn't much different than him at the time.
Well, without the drug.
No, I didn't drug nobody.
You were very different.
No, but shoot, I was like, yo.
This one comedian was like, the worst thing about Bill Cosby is that he's a hypocrite. Was that really the worst thing? That was the worst. No, I don't think that was the worst thing.
No, I mean, it was like, yo, at the time, I'm a young guy. She's blazing. This one's like, I was like, yo, man, that you too? I'm like, so, I mean, come on. It's, we found out a lot of things. Like I was dating models. Mm-hmm. I was dating top shelf women, and top shelf women was what he was looking for. Mm-hmm. But at that time, I thought, okay, that's what he's doing. To each his own. He's a grown ass man, and if that's the agreement between him and his wife, so be it. But now, when all the the Bill Cosby thing came up, I was like, oh, heard that before.
Yeah, man. Well, they're trying to drag him back into court again. They're trying to press charges again. Mm-hmm. We will see what happens. It just is what it is at this point, and Bill's going to have to sleep in the bed that he made. And to me, man, the most obvious. Sorry to interrupt you, but to me, if it was me, and I knew I did that shit, or I thought maybe they could prove some shit I didn't do, but there's enough people working against me to still try to prove that shit, I would just leave the country. I'll take my 300 million and go set up shop somewhere where there's no U.S. extradition and just live out the rest of however. There's not that many years in Bill's life left.
Yeah,
I mean, he's what? He's like 89 or something? Like,
I don't know, man, but man,
he's already done a couple years in prison. He does not want to go back to that shit. Like, yo, you're out. I would just be out.
But yeah,
and I would not come back. You would see me in Venezuela, just chilling, eating some, Venezuelan food.
Yeah, but if there's anything to learn from this is that, man, people can be two things at one time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, he was America's dad. People loved him.
Dude, he was beyond America's dad. That was the baddest. I wanted to be that cat.
Yeah.
I wanted him to be my dad. I wanted to be like him.
Dad like Bill Cosby. Yeah. Everyone wanted that shit. Every white, black, Thursday night, everyone watched the Cosby Show. I grew up in the Cosby Show era. It was a very dope show.
Every movie he did, except for, the later ones. But man, like that, man, he was amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, man, the charisma, all of that. It's like, well, you could have that and you can be that at the same time.
Yep.
If anything, it's like, if it's R. Kelly, why can't R. Kelly be this and this? Why can't Michael Jackson be this and this? Why can't, I'm not saying that they are, but why can't they? You know what I mean?